Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. My name is Arjuna Manamperi. This is a public lecture organized by Mechanical Engineering Sectional Committee. We start right on time at 5:15. I slightly delayed it up to 5:20 just to make sure that people get in. For some reason in Sri Lanka, at least at ISL, I have noticed that the time that the people start trickling in is around 5:45. So I'm sure when our lecturer gets up here and start looking at the audience, there will be more people. These lectures are live streamed, so I have to start on time. If somebody is watching from Mayangana, Anuradhapura, overseas, they should be able to view this, so we cannot delay it. And anyway, we should start things on time. Someday we will learn that. We're just having the conversation about the priorities. Nevertheless, these lectures are digitally archived, so therefore anyone can go and watch these things. And I have noticed that since we started this habit of archiving these lectures digitally, hundreds of young engineers or old engineers, I don't know, senior engineers have been looking at them because we can see the statistics on our YouTube channel. Today's topic is a very appropriate, to use a modern language, very cool subject. Very timely, very cool, very interesting subject. Green, environmental sustainability, green technology, various things. But what catches my attention is that environmental sustainability is equal profitability. That's what catches my eyes. I'm a business-minded person, first and foremost. So whatever the things, gadgets, gimmicks you do in the companies must eventually bring a return on investment. That's how I see it. Because without return on investment, we cannot sustain our efforts. We cannot be like the Sri Lankan economy where trillions of rupees have been borrowed every month to run the company without any value addition. Can't go on like that. We simply cannot go on like that. It's terrible. So today's lecture is about how can you adapt or adopt, actually, maybe adapt and adopt both green technology or sustainable technology, not just because it's the right thing to do or the cool thing to do, it is also the business sensible thing to do, because it improves your top line. Because a lot of companies in the world today ask for, are you doing sustainable energy initiatives, and that's how they do business. GSP Plus and all those things are all about that. Right practices in the world. And definitely adds to the bottom line, your profit. If you are a non-profit organization, you can say it adds to your surpluses. This lecture came about as a result of Mechanical Engineering Sectional Committee organizing a trip to Wijeya printers in around Hokandara area. I went to that particular visit and I was amazed, literally amazed. This is not just exaggeration. I was amazed by the creativity and innovativeness of the organization under the leadership of our present lecturer today. It's phenomenal. So I won't try to tell you a lot of things about that. Leave it up to the lecturer. Our lecturer is Janaka Rathnakumara, a graduate of University of University of Runa. A very dynamic engineer, I must say. Someone who actually do something with his engineering knowledge. Rarely we see, or rather rarely we get opportunities. I guess the opportunities must be found by individuals to practice your engineering knowledge. Under Janaka's leadership, this organization, Wijeya Printers, have gone leaps and bounds into technological approaches to improve their top line and bottom line. It's a printing industry, sort of like a semi-process industry. Many things have been done under his leadership because he started the factory, established the factory at that location. So therefore, you could say that he's the, I wouldn't call him the father of the factory, but more or less something like that. And like a true leader, he has built a fantastic group of members, team members within the organization to take the reins the day that he decides to leave the organization or the day that he decides to go on to new things. And that's a very important thing, because if you don't build your team in whatever you do, particularly with these kind of new technologies, everything comes to an end when the leader goes. That's not sustainability in terms of true sustainability. To sustain things, you have to have your leadership, the team built as well. Without any further ado, I invite Janaka to the podium to deliver a very, very interesting lecture. After the lecture is over, you can ask questions and Janaka will take the questions from the podium. Thank you very much. Janaka, welcome you here.
Good evening, everybody. Thank you, Mr. Arjuna, for your kind introduction. Yes, as Mr. Arjuna said that I am going to discuss about the sustainability and sustainability practices which we have implemented at Wijeya Newspapers Limited at Hokandara Press Complex. Right, best practices in printing industry. The enhancing environmental sustainability in printing industry through cleaner production, GP green productivity 5S, which undertook to achieve the ISO 14001 as well as ISO 50001. Right, I am going to discuss with you how we could implement this system in Wijeya Newspapers Limited and how we could change the entire culture into the green concept and what are the benefits we achieved, we got from this concept, but we have applied at Wijeya Newspapers Limited. Yeah, I work as a Chief Operation Officer, as Mr. Arjuna said that I joined Wijeya Newspapers in 2005 as a mechanical engineer. Then I was promoted to the project engineer for the Hokandara Press Complex, which was started in 2007. I did all my initiatives there. I implemented all green practices, and with construction time I used all best practices and sustainable practices to sustain the building and all factory area. Normally we use natural light for the daytime, more than 150,000 square feet. We do not use any artificial light for the daytime. We use maximum natural ventilations at our factory. Like that, there are a lot of implementations we can see which are sustainable practices. First of all, I would like to let you know about that Wijeya Newspapers Limited. Wijeya Newspaper is one of the prominent private sector newspaper publisher in the country, which started its operation in 1979 with tabloid size children paper. Later, moved to the periodicals, daily and weekend newspapers and magazines. Right? We have market share more than 65%. We are the market leader in the print media industry today. We are very proud to say that. And about Hokandara printing facility. Wijeya Newspapers has two printing facilities. That main office, which is at head office at Colombo, Unupiti Road, Colombo 2, and Hokandara, in Hokandara area close to the Maldives city, which started its operation in 2007. We have only 130 employees, human resources to run the entire operations. But we cover more than 85% of the Wijeya Newspapers production at Hokandara factory with these 135 human resources. Right. And earlier we used to have more than 350 employees to balance 15% operation. That is the difference. I will show you how we could reduce this 350 to 150, well, less than 150, and what is our efficiencies and all. Those are our publications. I think you all are aware about the Sunday Times, and Sunday Lanka is our Sunday newspaper. In addition to that, recently, more than 3-4 months back, we started our newest Sunday paper we call the Desha. Also, we have daily Lanka daily Mirror, and daily other. These are the daily publications. And in addition to that, we have some tabloids. Sirikatu, Tarunaya, Wijeya, Weekly Children Education magazine. I think we are aware about that Wijeya magazine, and also Parigadaka magazine. That is the only singular medium, singular IT magazine in the country at the moment. Also Lanka Woman, Hi and Go, which are some society magazines, and host of online publications. Addition to those things, actually 2-3 weeks back we started our newest publication we call the Tamil Mirror. That's a daily Tamil paper. We started only as a midweek. Now we are going to publish from next week onward as a daily paper. Right. The content of my presentation, I am just covered through some the philosophy change. What are the infrastructure development? What we have done? What are the concepts we use to change that philosophy of infrastructure development? Then green initiatives. From where green initiative come from? Further improvement to the green productivity and best practices, and finally sustain the development through the 14,001 and environmental management system as well as energy management system, and future sustainable building design and all. Yes, infrastructure development through 5S and Kaizen and philosophical change. First of all, after designing the factory, I thought we need to follow a very strict rule to develop our culture. It's a very, very important thing. So I thought 5S is the real best concept which we need to change our culture and which we need to practice our best practice, these initiatives to implement to sustain all our practices. So as 5S, as first concept, we implement 5S concept at Wijeya Newspapers Limited. 5S means Japanese concept which came from Japan. The 5 S letters, all 5 words start from S letters: Seiri, Seiton, Seiso, Seiketsu and Shitsuge, something like that. I will show you how the 5S started at Wijeya and how we can get could get the result from the 5S. The 5S begin with Seiri Day. You can see these are some unwanted items which were gathered in our day-to-day workplace, office premises as well as in the factory area. We thought we call all employees, top management to until bottom, top to bottom, all get together and remove all unnecessary items from our workplace. Not only the workplace but also our office, the drawers, cupboards and from our pockets and our handbags. We remove all the unnecessary items and then we keep everything is order. The second message is the Seiton, that means move into the Seiton with each item having its rightful place. We have given separate places for each and every item, not only the machineries and equipment but also even pen and even pencil or tube, Tipex or whatever, puncher or each and every or even cleaning item we have given the separate places. Yeah, then Seiso. Seiso means cleaning. Cleaning with meaning actually, cleaning and inspection. Normally we have, every day we get together at 9 AM, all employees with top management. We spend 5 minutes with 5S 5, we call that 5S 5 minutes. We check our office area, we check our machineries, whatever our recommended, that we have the separate, we have divided all our factory premises into different areas and we have allocated some responsibilities. Then my responsible area I have to look after within this, just look and see whether we are there any abnormalities. If then we have to write down and later we will discuss it and do necessary improvement. Likewise, first 5 minutes we spend for this early morning. Right? That's why we could keep we can keep such a beautiful environment. Even today you can go, you can see we have a very nice place. Even with 8 years old machine, we can run the same speed, 45,000 mechanical speed even today. It's 8 years old, but even today we run the same speed and we take same output from those old machines. Those are not very high proven technology. This came from first at the initial stage from India. But we are the only company who take the maximum benefit from these machines. Right? I am proud to say that because last few years back I did 2014 I did the presentation in India, in the Bangalore. Then I said that this is the machine we have been using for the last 5 years and we are getting the maximum output. We run 45,000 speed. That means we print 45,000 copies per every hour, each and every hour. That's the design speed, but still we run the same speed because of this our best practices. Not only that, we have some cleaning schedules, even washroom and toilets, we have separate cleaning schedules. The cleaner, after cleaning, he has to put his signature there and acknowledge. If something wrong, we will check who has done the, that mistake or something like that. Not only the machine, but also even cleaning room, we have, we are keeping very proper standard and cleaning level of cleaning. Yeah, then Seiketsu, color coding, numbering and directing. You know that we have given separate color code system. You can see that some pipelines, all pipelines, compressor, wastewater, drinking water, all we have given the directions to reduce the damage to the environment. If something you get blast, then immediately we can close the relevant valve and we can immediately minimize the damage to the environment. Something like that. Even the notice board, we have given the responsibility. There is a responsible person who has to maintain the notice board up to standard. We strictly follow the XY direction, X-axis and Y-axis. We can't put the notice board just like hanging like that. That's our philosophy. Right? Yes. Those are some color coding and color codes which we have implemented and we have introduced to our factory. Each and every department, they have their own colors. They have to use this color to demarcation or name or whatever file record, everything they have to use this particular color for their department, identification of their department. Also we have given some color code system for each and every pipelines and all. Not only that, but also we have given some area marking color codes. If the safety area, dangerous area, if you have some moving item, sometimes we have to take some item for temporary period, we have to keep some places. Later we can remove it. But then we can easily identify. If there is a temporary, then we have put some this one. Temporary item and storage area marking. We have marked with the white line. Then, there sometimes that's blocked our entrance or our footpath, but that's only temporary purpose. According to our requirement, we have, that we have allocated this requirement. Sometimes international, sometimes national, sometimes our own standard to do the sustainable practices. Yeah. Finally, Shitsuke is the discipline, training, and top management commitments, which is very important. If we do something, if our employee introduce something, implement something, if we did the best work, we select the best operator of the month. We select the best highest practices of the month. At the end of the month, we give some appreciation, the rewards from our top management or some the head of the departments. Likewise, we have always motivate our employees. Yes, you can see some developing culture. After implementing some system, whatever 5SO, cleaner production, ISO, something like that, at the end of the program, at the end of the training program, we conduct some slogan or poster competition. We organize some competitions. Then we can realize that how much they have absorbed their mind, the knowledge. Then only they can write down or they can come with their ideas. You can see there are two different competitions. The employees, the validity, that mean the employees. The Lamans mean that call the employees the child. My next concept is not only within office environment, they have to bring this system to their home. They have to deliver this their home and their wives. They can deliver to their children in schools and all. That's why we are doing some social work. Then we are doing some competition. We give some two different competition. First one is for the employees. The second one is for their children. Then we select first, second, third, then we give again rewards and certificates. Yeah. Then we will move into the cleaner production. The cleaner production is a very good system, the green initiatives. I will show you simple definition. The cleaner production looks at your input resources, how it flows through the processes and eliminate waste and toxicity of all the emissions. This is called cleaner production. It's a very simple. But UNEP has given also, they have given very precise definition for the cleaner production. The continuous application of an integrated preventive environmental strategy applied to processes, products and services to increase overall efficiency and reduce risk to human and the environment. Reduce risk to human and the environment. Right? Continuous application, which are very important. That's the cleaner production. At Wijeya, we started cleaner production from the 3R concept. 3R means reduce, reuse and recycle. We reduce our consumption, then we reuse whatever possible material or waste item, then recycle at the last. Right? Yes. Then very important equation, the input equal output plus waste. At Wijeya Newspapers Limited, we don't have this waste. We have given added some value to this waste. Right? Because waste is a valuable resource at the wrong place, in the wrong time or wrong form. Then only we can say that it's a waste. Otherwise, that's a valuable resource. You know how how I can say that we don't have waste? The secret is separation. You can see this is some, the separation practice which we have applied at Wijeya. Even canteen, we have separated 3 different bins. The first one is for used waste foods collection bins. The second one is for the used polythene, whatever the rapid cover, the lunch sheet and all. Third one is for paper. Then we send these for recycle separately. Likewise, we have the different waste collection centers. Use kerosene, waste ink, and use roll over some chemicals. After using the kerosene, we use for the maintenance purposes. After this, using this kerosene, you know that there is some black sludge. We don't even send this sludge into the environment. We separately we collected, we send into the someone else as valuable resource. I will show you what we are doing. This. Yes, this is another simple example. Your waste material should be someone else's raw material. Our empty ink barrel we send to the third party person. He come and collect this waste empty barrel and produce this type of very creative products, the washers and something like that. Instead of purchasing the new sheets from the market, he buy our waste empty barrels, the low cost, and he get the no profit. Then we don't have any waste product. Then waste sludge, oil or kerosene, we send them to the furnace. Some brass manufacturers who are in Kiribati area, one person, he comes and he collects all the sludge oil first for their furnace. Instead of diesel, he used this sludge. This is a very good furnace oil for his furnaces. Then canteen waste food, we put into the in-house biogas unit. We produce the biogas. Then we could replace 1/3 of LPG from our canteen, from our own biogas. 1/3 of biogas, LPG we have replaced from our own internal produced biogas. What we have done here, we didn't do any rocket science or anything big engineering principle, just we have closed the loop. If there is no loop to generate waste, that is the secret. CTP and process effluent treatment and reuse in gardening. We have separate process waste treatment unit, process wastewater treatment unit. Then we put into the whole process water into this treatment plant and treated and reused the water. We don't take any drop of water from the national supply to run the gardening, to use our gardening. Right? Then we have very soundproof pests and generator rooms. When we designed the factory, as I said that I designed the soundproof structure and we won the 5 million grant from the Netherlands as one of the environmental friendly soundproof design in the country. We won 5 million grant. They gave 5 million rupees without any, just evaluate our technical the study, design and all, then they grant us. Because then next one is the treated shower water used in building cooling system. You know that even shower water we do not send into the environment directly. We know that there are some detergents and some soaps and shampoo, something like that. So that is also we consider even a small minor impact to the environment. So that is why we collect this all shower wastewater into central tank and put some treatment system, and treated water we use for the building cooling system in non-air conditioned area through the sprinklers. Yes. Finally, cleaner production help us to improve the environmental performances and improve production efficiency and reduce cost, and finally improve social bottom line. That means sustainability. Then further we will discuss about what are the next green initiative, the green productivity. The green productivity is, the ensure profitability, it helps to enhance quality of life and reduce environmental impact. The green productivity is a strategy for enhancing productivity and environmental performances for sustainable socio-economic development. It is the application of appropriate productivity and environmental management tools, techniques and technologies to reduce the environmental impact of organization activities for products and services. Not only the product but also services we can apply to the green productivity. Why green productivity? History of green productivity. Actually, not only the history, most of the some industries even they don't practice these best practices. So we have a lot of environmental pollutions. In old days, socio-economic activities were done based on the effect of increasing productivity without the concept of environmental protection. Not only the early days, but also even today, most of us practice like this. Right? What we are getting, we get all valuable resource from the environment, and finally we put all waste back to the environment. That is our practice. Result, depletion of natural resources, something like that. Consequently, many environmental problems occurred. These cause low productivities in many industries, industrial sector, as well as the strict environmental regulations. That's how we have to, that now Central Environmental Authority or something like that, some government bodies, they have to put many regulations because of our not good practices. We don't have good practices to protect our environment. So finally, green productivity help us to enhancement of productivity and finally environmental protection. If we continually do this green productivity and sustainable practices, we can get the sustainable development. That's called the sustainability. As I said at the beginning, we started the green practices from the 3R. Now we have moved into the 7R. The 7R, I think this is the very veteran engineer called Mr. Ravi Silla, who has done the Kandalma also, the consultant. This is the 7R was introduced by Mr. Ravi Silla, his own concept. We followed the 3R from the UNIDO, but now we have 7R from Sri Lankan origin. Reduce, reject, reduce, reuse, reclaim, replace, repair and recycle. Now we are moving into the 3R to 7R. Right? Then finally, 5Ss, cleaner productions and green productivity, which are initiative for ISO 14001 system certification in Wijeya Newspapers Limited. Then Earth Summit 1922, Earth Summit 1922, Agenda 21, introduced the talk about ISO 14001. Even today, I don't think we don't have so many implementation of ISO 14001 in the country. But which is started, they talked about ISO 14000 in 1922. But even today, I don't think in Sri Lanka, most of us, we do not have ISO 14000 certification to run our businesses. The why environment? The environment action of every living organism creates environmental impacts that may be beneficial and adverse. Even simple human beings, we take oxygen from the environment and put back into the CO2. We take natural water and put into the wastewater into the environment. We take natural foods, some vegetables and some foods from environment, from natural, our nature, then we waste the environment from our back. Then we don't want to talk about industry. Even human beings, they are pollute the environment, then what about the industries? They are doing a lot more than that. So we have to seriously consider about it. Yes, environmental management system, that means ISO 14001. Part of an organization management system used to develop and implement its environmental policy and manage its environmental aspects. That's called 14001. Actually 14000, when we implement 14001, we have to use the PDCA, the Demin cycle. First we plan, then do, check and act. In planning stage, we design our policy. Then environmental count what are the environmental aspects related to our business process. Legal requirement, what are the legal requirements to run this newspaper printing industry? Which are legal, maybe the local, the national or international. Objectives, then we made some our objectives and target. Finally, we make our management program to give some solutions. That is the planning stage. Then do implementation and operation stage. Research, resources and role and responsibility. each and every operator, we have separate responsibilities to maintain our environment. Training program, communication, documentation, control of documents, operational control, emergency preparedness, response plans and manuals. We prepared this to operate our factory as environmental friendly one. Then finally, monitoring and measurement, evaluation of compliance, non-conformity. If there is any non-conformity, then we get some corrective and preventive actions and record them, to do some internal audit every 3 months or every 6 months. We get that, finally we count what are the impacts and we get some solutions. Then we discuss with impact with our management, review with top management. Then replan. If there are any improvements, we will replan and redo and recheck. Likewise, we use the Deming cycle to implement the 14,001. Then let's see the simple example activity. Simple activity called wash in hand. That we know that simple activity. But now we will see what are the impact and aspects belong to this wash in hand small activity. You can see the wash in hand and activity has many aspects. We use some detergent or shampoo or some paper after washing. We'll see then what are the impacts. Use of those are the activity. Use of water, then wastewater generate. Use of chemical. Use of toilet paper or use of electricity. Sometimes we use the electricity also after washing our hands to heat up. Then we will see what are the impacts. If we use the water, then what are the impact? Depletion of natural resources. Use of chemical, water pollution and soil pollutions. The use of resource, deforestation, depletion of natural resources. Use of electricity, what are the impact? Depletion of non-renewable resources and greenhouse gas emissions. The small activity like the washing hand has this type of impact. We have to seriously consider about all activities in our day-to-day operations in our factories and business processes. What are the solutions that for this? Yes, we change into the best practices. The technology changes from traditional machine to the new technological machines. Energy efficiency equipments, best operational management practices, a sustainable system and practices. The cleaner production, green production with chemical leasing, the responsible care, the new concept, which are very recently came to Sri Lanka. Right, ISO 14,001, 50,001, that there are. If we can practice these concepts and practices in our industry, we can sustainably run the business. I am the person who run the chemical leasing first case study in Sri Lanka. I did it in 2012. Then I won the global award for this. The responsible care, again another the best system to manage our chemicals. The importing, storage and disposal, all we have to do according to the international standard. Then we call the responsible care. Right? I did the first pilot project at Wijeya newspapers as in Sri Lankan case study. The first one I did at Hokandara premises. But I think now, yes, you can see some technical changes. As I inform you that we purchased the old machine in 2007 with Indian technology. But by 2007 and 2010, we have another 2 generation development. By 2013, we introduced that new machines, 25% energy efficient equipment, comparatively 2010 7 purchase machines. Right? The very compact and environmental friendly. The second one, CTP technology. The earlier one in 2007 we implemented this purchase and install with chemical processing equipment. By 2010 I could change into the chemical free machines. The second feature shows that machine we can use without chemical. We can develop plate without chemical. By 2010 we need to run. At that time there was not any chemical free machine, but now it's available, but still some are not economically liable, but technically feasible, but economically not liable. We have got purchase, we can use even with chemical also we can run this machine. In future requirement we have to purchase this. In future we can run without any chemicals. That means zero chemical use. That's we have developed our poly roadmap. By end of the 2015 we have planned to reduce our chemical consumption by 25%. We have planned to reduce the raw virgin newspaper, that means paper, by 50%, and we are moving into the 100% recycled newspaper by end of the 2015. Right? The traditional air conditioning system, water cool package, we have replaced with the energy efficient screw chiller, variable frequency drive chiller system, and we could reduce the 50% of our energy consumption for the air conditioner from this replacement. Right? Some TPM implementation, total productive maintenance. As I said to you, even today I ran my machine maximum speed with total productive maintenance help of with TPM. We have improved the communication system with the employees, bottom flow and up flow, first flow, without any difficulties. Also, we have implemented the TQM, total quality management system, cause and effect diagrams, control charts, histogram, the Pareto analysis. Always, if there is something wrong, we don't give just the answers. We find what are the root cause for this particular error or issues. Then only we give solutions. We use the TQM practices. Then Toyota production system, we call TPS. We use some Toyota production system, and we eliminate 7 waste from the production flow. The andem boards to easy identifications, to reduce the downtime, then eliminate waste. We have most of them actually we have locally modified, automatic stops. The ergonomics development for the employees' health and safety. You can see we have developed some ergonomics. We are considered not only the environmental and safety, but also human health and safety, ergonomic development. This is the Kaizen application. You know, this is we just got the concept from the railway tracks. We copied the concept from the railway and we implemented earlier we used to have 3 employees to roll this newspaper reel. Instead of that, we designed a small platform system. Internally we designed this. The simple mechanical design, that we can use the one operator and handle the easily 450 kg of newsprint reel now without any difficulties. Those are the Kaizen implementation which we have implemented at Wijeya. Earlier we used to have 3 operators to handle this 450 kg reel. Likewise, you can see the first picture shows that to how to handle the earlier this is the way we used to have the 3 employees we have to use to handle this ink barrel to load into the ink pumping system machine. But just we implemented some small cart, the drum handling equipment, less than 45,000 rupees. We could reduce 2 employees from there. Very simple mechanism. Likewise, there are some more implementation. High productive use of handling machines. Some chemical handling system, the traditional system into the new system with some control valves, we can get the exact volume. Our policy is not to drop any drop of chemical or even kerosene or whatever drop of diesel to the environment. That is why we have implemented such a system. Then another mechanical design, the unloading bay. Normal containers take all rail. So you know that containers weight height are not always same. Sometimes vary from 4 inches to 5 inches. Therefore, I designed some mechanical platform. We can height adjustable platform. According to the container height, we can adjust it and we can send our forklift inside to the container and take the reel out. Earlier, we used to have 2 separate forklifts for that. We will drag one forklift from the reel out and second one come and collect it and install. Now we use only one forklift. We can 50% we reduce the diesel consumption. 50% we cut down the emissions to environment. This is another very good mechanical design we call the heat treatment technology from our university. Now you know that normally we use this type of plate before printing. So you know, in this plate we have to mount in the printing machines, then image transfer from the plate to the paper. That's a normal offset printing technology. Normally this plate has only 100,000 run length, 100 to 120,000 copies. Then we have to use another set of plates. If we have 500,000 copy print order, number of circulation, then we have to use 5 set of plates. One plate has only 2 pages. Then we have some 100 pages. Sunday Lanka we have almost 200 pages. we have to place 400 plate sets for that. Earlier, if you want to print only 100,000 copies, we can use one set of plates. If you want to print 500,000 copies, then we have to use five set of plates, because our average run length is 100,000 copies. So instead of that, we think about what we can do this for, how we can improve the run length of the plate. Then we realized that there was some equipment called just baker. We put normally plate into that baking oven for 10 minutes for 200 degrees Celsius. Then you know that surface hardness is get hardened. Then we can use that plate after baking is over. Then we can mount it to the printing machine. Then we can improve. We could improve it to the 350,000 copies instead of 100,000 copies. We could now we can run the 500,000 print order someday Lanka Dipa. We can run with 2 plate sets. Earlier we had to use 5 set of plates. Right? Yes. This is another simple example for the Kaizens. This baker oven came with that small hanging unit. We can put only 2 plates at the time. 8 minutes we have to keep there, and we have to keep the 210 Celsius. Instead of that, we design some small this type of a jigger. We can print some 8 plates at once at 8 minutes time. Then we can reduce our energy consumption and we can cut down our energy, because our bottleneck was the plate developing unit. That's why we improve that. We had to find some solution for the bottleneck. Then we realized that this is the bottleneck. Then if we can improve the reduce the processing time of the baking unit, then we can reduce the cycle time. That's how we have improved this. Finally, instead of the traditional way we use the bus dampening system in printing machine, we have to use ink as well as water. Water transfer through the spiral brush. Instead of spiral brush technology, I have introduced a new technology called spray bar nozzles. Just like car injectors, the fuel injectors, we have injectors to spray the water into the paper. We could reduce the water consumption by 70%. And we could reduce some waste quantity, waste paper, and always we can improve the quality of the reproduction. Yes, this is another classic example for the cleaner production. The traditional business model, we run the plate dimension, that single plate which I have explained you, 750 and 576, that's the dimension of the plate. But you know that our paper width, I think you read the newspaper, but you haven't any idea about the width of the paper. 700 millimeters, the width of our paper. But we use 750 plates to print 700 with newspaper. I don't know why. Then I asked my top management when I was in head office as a mechanical engineer, why you are using this 750 with plate instead of 700? Then they said, no, that is came from this. We can't change. Right? Okay, then I said, I did discuss with our top manager, I need to do some changes. They said, what? I need to change this plate size dimension. Why? But it's a risk. I told, I will take the risk if you are allowed me to do this, I will do it. Then okay, no problem. Then I wrote to the manufacturer, plate manufacturer, please kindly send us the 100 plates with new dimension. Instead of 700, I used 720 by having only 10 millimeter either side some shape. Earlier it was 750, we reduced into the 720. Without informing any top guys, I used this plate. Nobody knows. Even today we run these 720 plates. We could save millions of rupees, right? Not only in Sri Lanka, but also now manufacturer has informed the whole Indian manufacturer, printers. Now even they now use the 720 dimension plates. We save the raw material for the future generations, not only the savings. The aluminium, this is the aluminium, right? And renewable resources. The annual saving is 1.3 million. Only one simple change, we could save 1.3 million rupees. Yeah, likewise, there are a lot of energy saving practices and applications. There are 11 energy saving applications, and annual energy saving amount is 8.5 million from these applications. Right? I am not going to discuss one by one. The second, the manpower and machines. after doing some small changes, we could save 640,000 rupees from manpower. After changing and designing new concept and technical designing and all, we could save 35 million of rupees from raw material. Finally, not only the raw material but also water. The water resource, this is a valuable resource, right? So we use whatever possible solutions, whatever resource, the savings from water, and we could save 260,000 from last year from water, reducing consumption. Finally, our annual saving is 45 million rupees from energy, machines and material and water. That is we call the sustainability equal profit. We could improve our profit, and we could not only that, actually if we do this type of savings or whatever achievement, then we will share our savings with our employees at the end of the year. Those are some national and international recognitions. Recently we got ISO 50001-2000 Energy Management System. Sri Lanka National Energy Efficiency Award 2014. National Green Production Award 2013, we won Silver Award. National Green Award 2013 and 14, Silver, from the National Central Environmental Authority. As I informed you that we share some of our knowledge and experience from other industries in other countries. I did one public lecture in Published Asia World Newspaper Conference in 2013 in Bangalore. In again 2014 in Amsterdam, Netherlands. Yes, the National Green Award again Silver 2012. Certification of Conformity ISO 14001. National Clean Production Award again 2012, and Global Chemical Leasing Award. That is the first Global Chemical Leasing Award to Sri Lanka. This is the first award. The first round actually I got first 5th place. The Taiki Akamoto 5 Years Award 2009. We are the first place in Sri Lanka industrial sector. National Quality Circle Award, Material Efficiency Award, Water Efficiency Award and CP Award. There are many more. There are more than 25 awards which we have taken last 3 to 4 years. Yeah, finally, the biggest challenge mankind faces today is sustainable development. To face this, actually, not only these practices, addition to that, we are doing carbon footprint calculation, water footprint calculations, and some renewable energy resources. We are working on it. And ISO 50000 already we have implemented. Some possible initiatives which you can use for your office or your organization or your day-to-day life. You can use eco demonstration instead of some traditional demonstrations. You can use biogas even in your home. The tree planting, biomass and biogardening and social mobilization. Finally, my message is today is it is the commitment of the individual people, teamwork and shared environmental values that transform an EMS, that means environmental management system or whatever, green productivity from paperwork to effective processes. That is very important. Finally, I got my last slide from the newspaper again because I am also from newspaper company. The Herald News Times, Yuri Gagarin, the first man in the space, he said, "Off in Earth in the spaceship, I saw how beautiful our planet is. People, let us preserve and increase this beauty, not destroy it." Thank you very much. This is the end of my presentation. If you have any questions.
Can I go first, ladies and gentlemen? I'm ready to ask some questions. I walked out of the session not because of I lack interest for this topic, but I have been in this factory and I am supposed to be at 3 meetings at the same time. So today is a very busy day, it's a busy season of the ISL, so I had to go to 2 other meetings and I came back. Had I not been to your factory, I would have not gone, I would have waited. But I knew what you were going to present. The question I have many questions, but I'll start with the first one. By the way, the mics are on, is that right? Yes. So, this I always have to do because for some reason we don't get it. You turn it on, which everybody should know, and then when you speak, if you don't have a loud voice like myself, you need to keep it close to your mouth and directly speak to